Ryan, it's unfair, she complained as she helped her husband wear his coat as he got ready for his office. Jungkook smiled. His hands were on her waist, and he knew what she was going to say next. It was everyday thing. Right on clock, every time she gets done wearing him his coat. Looking so handsome, but all those office ladies will get to admire the view. And just like every day, he would come up with a new response to comfort her. Jungkook, they can see, but you own me. She chuckled satisfied and kissed him once. Ryan, remember our date tonight, okay? Don't be late. Jungkook, I dare not. He took out a rose, and she didn't understand from where, but the next moment she knew he was tugging it in her hair, setting it up like he loved it. She blushed a little and looked at herself in the mirror. Jungkook traced his lines over her waist before holding her chin and kissed her one last time before leaving. Warren did her work for the rest of the day, and the night she prepared dinner for both of them. Jungkook loved her homemade food. Most of the times, he would refrain her from working, but when it came to food, he was a little spoiled. She got ready as well, wearing his favorite color, red. It was rare. They went to restaurants for their dates. They liked it at home, private, their own space to have fun without having people around to judge and hesitate from. She placed several candles on the table as well, and lighter beside them to light them when he returns. Instantly going back to mirror, she styled her hair, tying them up in a loose bun. She left a few strands out. It was already 15 minutes late, and she was panicking that he might come in between. But he was still not here, even after she was done. She left a few texts after half an hour was done and called him several times after 2 hours. The more she looked at the food getting cold, the more her mood was slowly going down. No matter how sad it made her, it didn't compare to the level of worry. She just hoped he was alright. Jungkook was not a common man. A little delay never meant he forgot or he got busy with other people. It was either war or maybe he really got busy. Walking over to closet, she changed up, removing her makeup and accessories. Wine, I'm never talking to you again. She stomped her foot and walked to table, eating her food. Jungkook had a huge security. If, in case, something happened to him, he would be attended immediately, and she would be informed. It was clear he forgot. Her face was red by the point she finished the food and grabbed his, covering it up, keeping it for herself too. Wine, no food for you, no bed for you, no wife for you. She lay down to sleep, covering herself with sheets. That was another thing she could not. But she was planning to act and ignore him. There was a memo note stuck to the sheets of his side which said, Go sleep somewhere else. It was somewhere near the dawn when she heard noises from outside. He was probably home, and even if it was 4:30 a.m., she couldn't sleep at all. She was in her night dress, using her cell phone to kill the time. She had tried calling his assistant a lot of times. Half of the night she was almost dying of anxiousness. But when she knew she couldn't do anything but to wait, she decided to watch a movie to distract herself. She almost cried out of relief hearing the sounds. At least he was alright. At least he was alright. Putting the phone down instantly, she moved into the sheets. However, he never entered the room. She heard his steps going around and probably taking a few things. Was he hungry? When she started feeling bad, she stood up, stepping out of the room. She saw the washroom door opened, and when she went there, she almost screamed at the sight of blood filled the whole floor. Her eyes widened up in horror, and she gasped. Jungkook was standing in front of the mirror, treating his wound. His arm had a huge cut, going all the way from his wrist to his elbow. Jungkook, you should be sleeping. She ignored him, stepping inside, not even caring about the floor filled with blood, and grabbed his arm very gently. Her eyes teared up at the deep cut. She moved his other hand away and started to treat his wound herself. Jungkook, I'll do it, princess. You don't have to. Wine, stay quiet. I'm already mad at you. She glared at him through her teary eyes. Jungkook pursued his lips. She was scary when angry, he had to admit, and he had no plans of dying from his wife's hand tonight. Jungkook wiped her tears when they fell down her cheeks. He was not going to let those precious dews touch the dirty ground. Once wine was done, she moved him away from the blood filled floor. Wine, wait outside. I'll clean it. And don't try to do anything yourself. He was meaning to tell her she didn't really have to clean or do any work, especially when he kept her awake the whole night. But he dropped the idea. He really made her mad. He quietly went inside the room as Wine cleaned the floor. The whole setting, the dinner table set in the balcony. The food was gone, but the candles and plates were still there. He saw the jewelry she took off on the dressing table, and when he went to the closet, he saw her dress laying there on the table, which she probably worn for him. He closed his eyes, and it was worse than the physical pain he was in right now. The whole night passed by, and he didn't want to imagine how much she prepared for it since the morning. When Wine came back inside, she took the shirt from Jungkook's hand, which he picked up from his section. She dragged him to bed and made him sit, while changing himself herself. She saw a few more tiny scars and applied an ointment on them. Wine, why are you filled with injuries? And why that cut on your arm so big? What were you fighting with? Swords? She might be mad and her actions were really rough, but as soon as her hands were on him or near him, she was extremely careful and gentle, and Jungkook could only stare at her. Jungkook, there was a sudden attack. I was not planning to make you wait whole night. Why? Only if your stupid ass stayed away from action and came home to enjoy a date with me, you wouldn't be filled with this right now. She glared, and once she was done, she stormed back to her side. Wine, and make sure you read the memo placed beside you. She laid down, pulling sheets above her head. Jungkook found a memo and read it, and somehow it only brought a smile to his lips when he saw the tiny, angry emoji right beside the message. Jungkook moved near Vian and laid down beside her. He wrapped his arm around her body without removing the sheets and placed his head above her shoulder. The process brought him pain due to his injury, but he could ignore it easily due to his endurance training of years. Jungkook, Princess, I'm sorry. I'll give you all the time tomorrow. He heard her sniff and removed the sheets instantly and found her crying. Jungkook, Ryan, I'm sorry, really. I didn't mean to make you wait. I know you were really excited. Ryan, it's not that. You don't know how scary it is every time you're involved in any damaging activities. He kissed her tears and held her hand. Jungkook, your husband is strong. He won't go down this easily. Nothing is happening to me. I know. I have a wife waiting for me. Ryan, you better keep those words. He nodded and she got in his arms, making sure his injured arm was not involved in it. Ryan, you must be hungry. Let me get something for you to eat. She moved up, but Jungkook pulled her back. Jungkook, you're going to faint soon by the amount of sleep in your eyes, and I'm not that hungry. It's fine. Ryan, right. Watch me put you on a healthy diet till you recover. He groaned. He hated that soups and stupid diet. Jungkook, I told you, I'm fine. Do you want me to do push ups and show you? Ryan, no thank you, Mr. Tough. And oh, by the way, no alcohol either. And if you dare cheat, I'm going to throw you out of the window. Jungkook, scary. She made a proud face before kissing his cheeks. She was glad, no matter what, she was in his arms. He was safe. She told him twice she could get up and make something for him, but he rejected, and then she slept peacefully in his arms where she belonged to.